Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Maya with Simply Bloom. So today I thought I would bring you along with me as I fertilize all my annuals. And sometimes I'll use the same method when I do my perennials, but just not as often. So annuals are really vigorous plants and they perform all summer long. So that means just like us as humans, if you're doing a lot of vigorous physical activity, which growing and producing flowers, I would say, is physical activity, then you need a lot of nutrients. Otherwise, you just get worn out and tired and you don't perform as well. Same with annuals. So they need food and energy and nutrients in order to keep performing well. Otherwise, if you don't provide that, they get stringy, leggy, they'll start to yellow, they won't produce as many blooms, and we don't want that. So there's tons of different fertilizers out there, all different brands. You just kind of have to try them and, see which one works best for you. I personally use Miracle Grow just because it's the one that I can find easily in my area. I know Proven Winners has a really good one, which I would love to try because, I don't know, Proven Winners, they're just like proven winners. You know what I mean? However, I can't find it here. I could order it online, but I don't know. I like to have something that I can just go to the store, buy in bulk, and I don't have to wait for shipping, but I think I'll try it next year. So yeah, I just have the all-purpose plant food by Miracle Grow. I know there's like bloom boosters and all these different kinds. This is just the one that I use because I use it on my flowers and my veggies, so I don't have to keep switching back and forth. Miracle Grow also has this handy dandy little fertilizer feeder, I guess. Anyways, it's just a spray. So you can put the fertilizer in this little tub and then it kind of pumps out the perfect amount of fertilizer. You can connect it to your hose so you don't even have to think about measuring. If you don't have these, you can easily just use a watering can. There's instructions on your fertilizer and it normally includes a little scoop that says how many scoops per gallon of water. So just follow that and it will turn out great. But for this purpose, and same with Proven Winners, both Proven Winners and Miracle Grow, they come with this handy dandy package. And this whole package can fit into here. So it works out perfect. Just dump, attach the hose, and go. Now this fertilizer here has nitrogen, phosphate, chelated iron, and the chelated iron is really important if your leaves are yellowing. So the iron is what turns the yellow leaves back to green. And how often you fertilize is really up to you. The instructions, I think, say every third watering. You can fertilize every single time you water. If you're hooked up on drip irrigation, some people only do it like once a week. I do not have irrigation. I hand water. So honestly, I do it, just dropped it. I do it every single time I water my annuals. I will use this about once a month on some perennials, not all of them. You do not want to fertilize yarrow or sedum or Russian sage. That will make it flop over, so you don't want that. But all my other perennials, I'll shoot about once a month, just for a little extra kick. All right, I'm gonna load up and get to fertilizing. Now, one thing is try not to spray the leaves with the fertilizer. You can if you want. It won't make a huge difference, but like me, someone who waters by hand every single time, constant water spraying on the petals will just kind of cause them to break down and just kind of look kind of yucky. So I try my best to really get into the plant and spray just the roots, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you hit some petals, that's okay. But my personal advice, if you are watering by hand every single day like I am, try not to hit the petals and the leaves and stuff. If you're only doing this about once a week, it's probably fine. But let's go. Okay, I'm gonna use my rock garden. Wow, that's bright. I'm gonna use my rock garden as a table here. I fill it up with about halfway of water because you need water. You can leave it dry and empty when you first add it in, but then it waits until it completely fills up with water before it starts injecting the fertilizer through to feed the plants. So I find that if I just put about halfway full of water before I add the fertilizer. It just takes less time before it starts to inject out and feed the plants. So I have my helper here, and we're just going to add the fertilizer right in.
Mom, it's done.
All done. Okay, so you can see that was perfect by just filling it with halfway full of water. By the time I added it in, it brought the water and fertilizer straight up to the top, so it is good to go. You could always add the fertilizer first and then add water afterwards. And then you can see, I don't know if you can see, the sun's kind of bright. You can, once it kind of settles, you'll be able to see actual granule fertilizer in the bottom of this that's hasn't dissolved. So as long as you see a powder at the bottom, you're good to go. You can keep fertilizing, but then once the water turns lighter blue, you don't see any powder at the bottom, then you know it's time to add more fertilizer into your thing. I'm gonna hook it up to the hose and start fertilizing. Okay, you guys, I am done. I didn't show everything. It's a lot, just repetitive, just water all the annuals. I didn't really focus on the ground too much as we did get a lot of rain recently and the ground's still pretty wet. So I mainly just focused on the containers. But I wanted to show you this. You can still see all the powder at the bottom. As long as you see powder, then you know you're still fine. But if you get to the point where you can't see any more of the powdered fertilizer, then that means it's time to add more. So don't wait until the water is completely clear. You can if you want, but that just means some of the plants that you are watering aren't getting fertilized if you wait for it to run completely clear. So just wait and make sure you see that at the bottom and you're good to go. But that is it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. I hope you'll have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.